is what was the turning point that you saw that you needed more help and assistance than you were getting?
So I have a mic, I'll just start. It was a friend who recognized the signs, but knowing this was more of a serious situation, she went to my neighbor who, it kind of just trickled to my mom. I did go to inpatient in February of my sophomore year, and I started to recognize that there were other people there that were struggling too, but I wasn't alone for the first time. And you had this thought in your head that everybody with mental illness is this way. It was like, no, kids were struggling with missing class and, having parents that maybe wanted them to get an Ivy League school, or people that were bullied or divorced, or, a diagnosis of a mental illness. And it taught me that I wasn't alone. And when I came back in transition, the whole part that really helped was my mom recognizing it's okay. She still has someone that cares about her. She doesn't need the 50 people to pretend to like her, quote unquote. She has that one person that's going to be there for her in that time. And then my mom started working with the counselor at school, who really, really supported. Because I will say, when I was going to counseling at high school, I was made fun of a lot, because it was just something you didn't do. And I stopped going. But going back to that, my mom working with that counselor, getting me into a study for CBT, and me recognizing, hey, it doesn't define me, it's not who I am. And the people in that hospital taught me that in the world we live in today, everybody goes through something, and that's okay. And the resiliency we have is so important, but just making sure you're taking care of yourself and that treatment that you're getting, is really important. So,
when I first noticed that it was time to get help, I remember the moment clearly. I was really laying in my bed, and I said, what am I getting out of this life? I'm not getting anything from it. It's time for me to do something about it. And one thing that's always stuck out to me, I remember my therapist said to me, I have the disorder. The disorder does not have me. And ever since then, I use that as my model to keep it going and live life. And also being in high school and realizing how much time I lost due to my mental health. I wasn't in any extracurriculars. I didn't go to dances. I didn't go to the football games. And I was grieving over the loss of my high school years. And the time that should have been the best times of my life were actually the worst.
So when I first kind of realized that there was something off, I was in about 3rd grade, and I had struggled for about a month. My heart would feel weird, and I'd shake, and I'd just be freaked out for no reason. And so I'm lucky enough to have an excellent relationship with my mother. And I went to her and I said, hey, I don't feel like something's right. And she said, okay, what's going on? So, turns out that she had gone through the same thing I had when she was younger. So she helped me. We tried countless things. I'd seen a therapist for a little bit. My parents had gotten me like a little breathing tool, and kind of I just had to really start learning how to live with my anxiety, and with that came the disordered eating, and I tried numerous things. I mean, I was put on protein shakes that, oh my God, I would cry about. It was awful. But I had doctors there for me too as well, so I knew that I had a very, very strong support system, and every day I'm grateful for it.
So I feel like when I knew it was time to get out of the friend group, is when they started saying these mean things that were usually behind my back, to my face. And even when I was out of this friend group, I was still alone, because all of the other friend groups were already established, and I always felt kind of like a floater friend, just never really completely included. But I think when I got to high school, because I went to a different high school than my middle school, it was just so many new people, and I was able to feel actual support of what friends should actually be like.
When I noticed my struggle was when my family started. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, if you want to take a minute, that's totally okay too. Because this is a topic that brings up a lot of feelings, right? This is something that a lot of people struggle with in silence, even though there's a lot of people still out there who are experiencing this. So I thank you all because I know this probably brings up a lot of different emotions and experiences for you all. And I appreciate you for sharing all of this because it's very powerful. And you're speaking to something that I bet a lot of people in this room are still experiencing too. So I appreciate you for being here.
Really, you guys are helping so many people right now. The bravery you have at your age to do this, all of you, is unbelievable. So, it's amazing.
Was when my family started to get, started becoming distant from me. And I noticed when my little sister started checking in more than she should have, she started to become that bigger person for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's totally okay. I would like to say that you all are speaking to this very, really hard scenarios that you all have experienced and been through.